most people don't understand. I mean, it's been happening to me since before I can even remember. I can remember one night I was laying in bed with my parents, and I saw this figure, this white figure standing over my bed. Uh, I couldn't figure out what it was, and I was trying to talk and I was trying to move, but I couldn't move. I remember thinking, why aren't my parents waking up, and what is this thing, and why is it just looking at me? Throughout the years, it's been kind of on and off. I can remember instances where it happened. One time I was talking to my first girlfriend inside my parents' car. Uh, it was kind of bold of them, but I remember it clearly. I was sitting in the car. It was still dusk, so there was still some light out. And I was sitting in the car talking to my girlfriend, and I'm looking towards the house. The car was maybe 2 or 3 feet in front of the house, and from around the corner, I start to see this being coming around the corner. He was wearing a black suit. The only skin visible was his head and his hands, as far as I could see. And I remember telling my girlfriend to hold on, something's here, somebody's here. I remember having this real calm feeling about it, though. Like I wasn't freaking out or anything. In fact, I think I might have thought it was my grandmother for a second. And it was coming around the corner of the house like it was trying to hide or something. It was like ducking or crouching and looking into the window. I told my girlfriend to hold on, and I put the phone down. The second I did that, a second being appeared behind that one. And the second he saw me, I'm not exactly sure. I remember making eye contact, and then the next thing I remember is I'm getting out of the car and coming around to see what was in front of it, and all I remember seeing is possums. Now, normally, I would have jumped if I had seen a possum or something. I wouldn't just walk out and like, oh, look, there's a possum, right? No. Well, the next thing I remember after that is waking up in the morning, and my dad's kind of yelling at me and saying, hey, stop leaving the cordless phone inside the car. I could have taken it to work with me by accident or something. So, I mean, I know exactly what I saw. I was looking at two beings that weren't human beings. I guess they can't erase your memory if you see something before they get a chance to. Well, the next morning at school, I was talking to my girlfriend, and I asked her if she had seen or she remembered what had happened, and all she said was that I told her to hold on for a second, and that she heard some static, and she heard some like static conversation or something, and that the phone just hung up, and she just figured that I was going to bed or something. I mean, it was still pretty early. I don't know why she would have thought that, but it's exactly what happened. If you fast forward my life to about a couple years ago, there was one moment in time where I was sleeping with my ex-wife, and something strange happened. I was having trouble sleeping that night. So as I was laying there, all of a sudden I start to realize that I can't move. And I mean, I'm the one who's like into this whole alien and sleep paralysis thing, so I just rationalized it as sleep paralysis, and I was just waiting for it to pass. I was just laying there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, without me thinking about it, I hear like a static voice, like metallic or robot voice. It's exactly what it sounds like that type of thing. And I'm like, okay, what's that? And all of a sudden, you hear it. I heard it again, but this time from the other side of the bed, and it was like, and I paused for a second. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then it just sounded like they were going back and forth, like they were having a conversation. This whole time I was aware that my ex-wife was to the right of me, and I started to realize that I couldn't feel her. I know that the bed wasn't that big, so she should have been right along my arm, and I started to feel like the more I tried to wake up, the harder I tried, the more hurried the conversation that I was listening to became, and I started to feel as if something was laying my ex-wife back down in bed, like as if she hadn't been there or something. Like I started to feel like something had carried her back in and placed her in bed, because I clearly felt two cold impressions on my arm, as if they were laying her back down and then retracting their arms. I asked God to give me the strength to wake up, and the second I did, I busted out of bed. I remember sitting straight up and just sitting there for a second. It was a dark room, no windows. My ex-wife that second woke up, and she's like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Who was in here with us?" And I'm like, "Why? What do you remember?" She's like, "I heard somebody talking, and I felt somebody touching me." And when you get corroboration like that, it's mind-boggling. Fast forward to a couple of years after my divorce, and I had moved into my grandmother's house. I didn't have a job. I was just kind of living day to day, and um, this one night, nothing special or significant felt like was happening that night. Other than the fact that I woke up. But when I woke up, I was standing up in the middle of the room, and I mean, I was just kind of thrust out of my sleep, and I was standing there. And I look around, and I have this gaming chair, and it has this bright LED, so that caught my attention. And next to that is the clock, and I could see the clock, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I start making my way back onto the bed when all the lights turn off. Everything just shut down, like the power just went out. And it was more of a jolt, if anything. And I start to feel like my body's being torn apart, like it's being stretched. This vibration starts going through my body. During these times, I was also staying at my parents' house, and we had experienced a couple of nights of the house just shaking all of a sudden. The whole house would just feel like it's being, it's just being shook, and everybody would wake up, and nobody really knew what it was. Anyways, that's about the time that I recorded this video, and I was actually recording the skies because I wanted to put a spaceship in there, but nothing of the sort of what I caught on there. After reviewing the video, I saw a bunch of little things flying around in the sky that at slow motion you couldn't really see with the naked eye. Or even after regular recording, I was trying to green screen it and place a certain Navy frigate in the sky, and I just started to see all these little things. When I watched the video, it's on the wall. I actually point some of them out. I actually found more after, but yeah. Just a couple nights ago, I had woken up like at 7 in the morning to go to the restroom, and came back, and I laid down. I'm now happily married to somebody else, and I was spooning my wife, and I had this urge to turn over, and I turned over, but my arm was still underneath her pillow. So as I turn over, I start to feel this tremendous cold come over the left side of my body, the side of my body that was right next to my wife. as I try to turn over just to cover myself. I realize I can't move, and I'm trying to be objective about the whole situation, and it's sleep paralysis or whatever again, and I'm just trying to cover myself because I mean, you feel my whole body like get riddled with dimples, and as I turn over, I was struggling, but I was managing a little bit. I struggled to open my eyes a little bit. I start to notice this dark figure over my wife. I had mentioned before that I have this LED light in my room that emits from a gaming chair, and I start to notice this figure. It's there, and I was trying to focus, and I realized that that's something there. So I tried to speak, and I couldn't. So the next best thing is to move my leg, and I was starting to rock my leg back and forth because I was trying to wake my wife. I was very unsuccessful at this. So I tried to utter something, and I go, oof, oof. I was trying to say, babe, is what I was trying to say, babe. I was coming out as oof. And when I did that, this figure looked at me, and he jumped into the wall. It was just a shadow, and I caught the sight of his foot just going into the wall. It didn't look like feet. It was wearing some type of shoe or something. You know, it wasn't a feet outline. It was like a foot out, like a shoe outline. And it went into the wall. Of course, this was just black shadow that I saw. I immediately just woke up, but I didn't move. I just laid there. My wife turned over and woke up, and she put her arms around me, and it was like she knew something had happened, and we didn't talk about it till a little later that morning, but needless to say, we were both a little freaked out about it.